One girl, she took her purity and she gave it to someone who begged for it. And he begged for it and begged for it. So she gave it away. She gave away her purity. And he didn't respect it. He threw it on the ground. Because I was just in a weird spot, I started dating this kid, and I actually made a mistake and I changed my standards.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, March 27th, 2023. Thank you so much for being here. I am working on my third video, and this was actually the video I was going to make before I made my last video, which was about Peyton Brown speaking about his mom's boyfriend, David. But this is actually about Robyn Brown and some interesting stumblings I had when I was over on her Pinterest, because I was able to locate Aurora's Pinterest, and I found some really interesting pins by Aurora that kind of match with that super concerning purity speech that she gave to everyone. So if you're not familiar, several seasons ago, Robyn and Cody decided that she was going to give a speech to the family when they were living in Las Vegas about the importance of saving yourself until marriage. And then Robyn made the atrocious decision to then share a hypothetical story, which is clearly about her, about giving her purity away, and she claims that someone stole it. Now, this person that she claims stole it happens to be her ex-husband, Preston Jessup, and the man that she fathered 3 children with. I must note, though, that she married this man, and 2 of her children, Aurora and Brianna, were conceived after they got married. So when they first got married, she was pregnant with her son, David, who goes by the name Dayton, and David was delivered a few months after she got married to Preston. So when she had Dayton, they were like 5 or 6 months married by this point. And after that, she went on to have 2 more kids, children that they planned and children that they wanted. But yet in her purity speech, she made it seem like this choice by her to give it away to this man somehow ruined her life forever, because she wasn't supposed to be with him. She was supposed to be with Cody. If you also recall, she tried to rewrite history, and she made a painting where she had an artist, or a drawing where she had an artist sketch a photo of Cody into a photo of her children, which the photo of Cody that they took was a photograph of him and Christine, and they scrubbed out Christine and they scrubbed out her kids, and they placed her 3 children with Cody. And what's more interesting is the photo that she shared of her children, she removed David's head from. So she was like transposing Cody into a photograph with her kids. Now imagine how confusing this must be for the kids. Now on the show, when this aired, people were furious because they were like, how dare you imply that your children were mistakes or that you didn't want them? It's one thing to get pregnant and not plan for it, but to admit on television that it's a mistake, it's kind of disturbing. And then the whole portrait is a whole other level of disturbing. So imagine after she puts this all out, how that makes people feel. Obviously, I'm sure Preston up in Montana feels terrible that she's referring to him as potentially stealing her purity, which the implication there is horrible. But then imagine having her kids sit in the room when she says this, and they're basically being told that they're mistakes. Well, Aurora seemed to have a response on her Pinterest boards where it's under her like things to help her when she's like down or inspiration. And it's really sad because it seems to be a direct response to the narrative that she's heard from her mom. So let's dive into today's topic. Before we do, can you do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, please subscribe to my channel if you've not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Click on the notification bell so you get notified anytime new content loads. If you have something to say, please leave a comment. Share this video with your friends. And if you would love to support, if you want to support the channel, you can always click on the heart, which says thanks, and donate to the channel. So back several seasons ago, the purity speech was so horrible. This is part of what she said.
This kid that I started dating was my first kiss. And there was only one thing that he wanted. And so I got pregnant.
So her implication is that she was dating Preston, and this man was her first kiss. And that the only thing Preston wanted was to get physical with her. And then she gets pregnant. First of all, this is like a complete rewriting of history, because I've spoken to people that know Preston and this is not what happened according to him. But she acts like this whole thing was an accident, right? She was 19 or 20 years old when this all happens. So she goes on and gets pregnant, and then she gets married to him. So how would she then explain the two other children that she decided to have? Because she married this kid who she says stole her purity, and then she went on to have 2 more kids with him. This is what she says.
And she spent her whole life trying to get it back, but you only have one. And it broke her heart, and she spent her whole life being sad about it.
So she spent her whole life being sad about the fact that she gave her purity away to this man who happened to have not only her daughter, her son Dayton, but also her 2 children, Brianna and Aurora. So she's saying that she regrets these relationships with him, even though she married him, and even though they remained married for 9 years.
And then when she finally found the guy that she was supposed to be with, she had to go to him and say, look, I gave away my purity to someone else. He kind of stole it from me. And this was supposed to be yours. But I gave it to someone else, and I'm so sorry.
So she's sorry that she gave her purity to someone else. Mind you, this is someone she was married to for 9 years, and someone that she had 3 children with. And so when she married Cody, she had to go to Cody and apologize to him for not being pure. Mind you, Cody was married to a woman named Janelle who was divorced. And I'm pretty sure Janelle wasn't a virgin when he married her. On top of that, I'm fairly confident that Cody wasn't pure when he married her. The double standards here are astounding. But the fact that Cody has her giving this speech in front of them, it's not only humiliating for Robyn, but it's humiliating to her kids. So while I was over on Pinterest, for years I was like, how can Robyn do this to her kids? This is so cruel. And whether it was her idea or whether it was Cody's idea, I'll never know. But on Pinterest, on Aurora's board called Words of Wisdom Helping Thank You, it says, you are not an accident. Your parents may not have planned you, but God did. He wanted you alive and created you for a purpose. Focusing on yourself will never reveal your purpose. You were made by God and for God, and until you understand that, life will never make sense. Only in God do we discover our origin, our identity, our meaning, and our purpose, our significance, and our destiny. This is to help her when she's dealing with words of wisdom, and she's saying, you're not an accident. They may not have planned you, but God did. I'm like, what an awful sentiment to put on a child where they feel like they've been an accident because of what their parents... Aurora was born after she was married. Aurora was a planned pregnancy. So how is she an accident? How is Robyn's revisionist history making it so her children believe they were accidents? The other way, the way that she frames David, Preston, as though he was some man and that they weren't in the faith, they were literally up in Pinesdale. And she was in the AUB compound area. She was surrounded by church members. She was absolutely a part of the faith. And now poor Aurora, all these years later, has to remind herself that she wasn't an accident. And what's interesting here is that Robyn and her kids also have a board called Abundance, where they post things about making money and becoming wealthy, which is just strange. And all three kids are on this board together. And Robyn has boards which are titled, "I'm so grateful that God loves me." And her most recent pin was, "God has protected me more times than I can count, so I can only imagine the times I've been rescued that I don't even know about. Thank you, God, for always being there, even when I don't know it." She also has things that say, "The enemy likes to hide wolves inside sheep's clothing, but that's okay. God hides lions inside of lambs." And another one that she really recently pinned was, "Even the people who betray you are a part of the plan. Jesus couldn't get to the cross without Judas." Her Pinterest is literally filled with quotes about how everyone hates her, about no one understands her, about people make assumptions about her, that she has all these haters. And it's a lot of her being an empath and being hurt by other people. Yeah. In another one of her boards, under words to remember, it says, "Any friend who isn't happy when you're happy is an enemy who has infiltrated your camp." She also has one that says, "Scapegoating in a family says, we're fine or normal, he or she is the problem. So when or if you try to get out of the assigned role to shed the false image that has been cast upon you, the whole family system will often go to the extremes to put you back in your place." So she believes she's the scapegoat, what she said on the show. Another thing she pinned is, "Classy is when you have a lot to say, but you choose to remain silent in front of fools." I wish I could show you all of her pins, but she really does see herself as a victim in everything. Like another one says, "When someone accuses you of doing something you're not doing, it's usually because they're the ones doing it. The people who are silent when you win are not your friends." She does seem very affected and impacted by what other people think of her. And she really does seem to view herself as a victim, and maybe in some respects she is, but I don't see also a lot of accountability here. And her boards are filled with quotes of where she's been scapegoated, she's been the victim, other people don't care about her, she's so emotional, people just can't understand her. For someone who claims to be so happy and in her blessed life, it sounds like she's not got the best life. She also has an entire board dedicated to her and Cody being Superman and Wonder Woman. But what's most shocking is obviously this constantly being the victim of literally everything. And listen, I'm not against people being victims, but when you're always the one that's been hurt and you're never the one that actually takes responsibility for your role, are you really always the victim? And I get it. You can have a trauma in your past, but when it comes to her and these other wives and how she disrupted the family, she's not blameless. She's not, and she'll never be blameless. And where she falters here is making her children believe that their father stole her purity and that they were mistakes. And now Aurora, all these years later, has a pin on her Pinterest board telling her and reminding her that she's not an accident. When I spoke to one of the friends of Preston, they told me that Robyn spent years alienating the kids against him and making them believe that he was an abuser and that he was a bad dad and that he was a terrible person. And there was no way that he could fight it because they just only ever heard one side. And when you're constantly hearing how mom is the victim all the time, that's going to have to resonate on you at some point. And it's clear when you look at the girls' Pinterests that they're both dealing with a lot of anxiety and stress. And I feel sad for them that they were raised like this. And I think Robyn is someone that needs help, in my opinion, and is definitely not the mother of the year. And I truly feel sad for her kids who are more and more isolated as the years go on. They don't talk to any of their other siblings. She makes them feel like everyone's against them. And I bet you if they were away from her, they would flourish. But that's just my opinion. Robyn Brown damaging her kids through her purity speech as evidenced on Aurora's Pinterest board. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.